Welcome back. It's Wednesday, July 14th, 2016, and I'm Michal Libon, and it's still the morning edition here on i24 News. Thank you for staying with us. Joining me now in studio is i24 News editor Jeff Abramovitz, our local history buff. You're going to talk about some of the events which happened this week in history, and I think we can start by saying Vive la France!
Indeed we can. I don't know if anybody actually says that on this particular day, but July the 14th, national holiday in France, the storming of the Bastille fortress in 1789, the French Revolution.
So what happened actually on that day, the day that today is being called Bastille Day, the storming of the Bastille, which is then seen as this heroic kind of battle and event? It wasn't exactly how it played on at that time.
No, today it's gotten a myth of its own. It's become iconic. It's featured in Hollywood movies, usually inaccurately. There was huge, to put it briefly, there was huge unrest in France at the time. King Louis XVI fired his very popular finance minister. The next day, July the 13th, there was a rumor that the king was sending the army into Paris to quell unrest. A mob stormed a local garrison, stole rifles, and found they had no powder to make the rifles work. There was powder in the Bastille.
If I can guess, it was in the Bastille.
The powder was in the Bastille.
The powder was in the Bastille. They were not there to save anyone, to free any prisoners. Not at all.
Not at all. They stormed the Bastille to get the powder. Several of them were shot. The garrison resisted. In the late afternoon only, the garrison surrendered. They got their powder. They freed a grand total of 7 prisoners. 7
full prisoners. And how did the king react?
The king wrote in his diary that nothing happened, but he wasn't really referring to the Bastille. I think he was referring to his daily hunt. Of the prisoners that they freed from the Bastille, to give you an indication, 2 were lunatics. One thought he was Julius Caesar, St. Louis, or God, and one was an aristocrat who'd been put in the Bastille by his family for committing incest.
And this brings us here today to the Bastille Day, which is being celebrated today. And here in Tel Aviv, it's being celebrated by the French Embassy and the Institut Français with a huge beach party. To
which we weren't invited.
Which, of course, we were invited. And, you know, Jeff, you should consider going there. What more happened in history? The Great Battle of Britain.
I had to scramble for this one, the Battle of Britain. The official date, July the 10th, 1940. That's the date of the start. Again, simplifying everything, Hitler had conquered most of Western Europe. He wanted to bring the British to the negotiating table, make them see reason, as he called it.
They initially resisted.
They resisted. Churchill was in power. He would not deal with Hitler. Hitler launched air attacks against Britain, initially against shipping in the Channel, then against airfields in Britain, and then finally in the third stage, he switched to the bombing of London. Now, for anyone who, like myself, grew up in an English British Empire country, the Battle of Britain it's one of these events that is more than just iconic.
And a scar in the collective memory.
Not really a scar. Churchill called it our finest hour. He mythologized the pilots as the gallant few, that magnificent speech of his.
And we're seeing visuals now, I'm guessing, from World War II, from that
would
time.
be the bombing of London.
Blitz, still black and white.
Well,
before television it became what it is today.
But the bombing of London is actually how the battle was won, because the RAF Royal Air Force, was badly stretched. Hitler was hitting the airfields. Then he decided to bomb London, and that gave the Royal Air Force time to refit, to retrain, to rest some pilots.
So at that time, wars were covered very differently than they are today, which of course had a different impact. Today, every single movement of soldiers is in many ways portrayed in the media, as is the suffering. Back then, it's very limited, the amount of coverage we have, which brings us probably to our next event in history.
Right, which is the little satellite that could the day the world became smaller. And that is the launch of the Telstar communications satellite in 19...
Which made journalism what it is today.
It made journalism what it is today, and the jury is still out on whether that's a good thing or not.
So how did it all start?
They launched the satellite. It was the first satellite which made possible transatlantic television broadcasts.
Which sounds very big and very advanced, but in fact...
It was very big and very advanced in 1962.
Absolutely.
But if you look at it today, it was amazingly primitive. It was 3 feet long, that's around a meter. Its power was 14 watts, and that is roughly 1/7 the power of your average laptop today. It circled the Earth every 2 hours, and only for 20 minutes each hour was it in a position to broadcast signals across the Atlantic.
Absolutely. And I think we have the first broadcast.
We have the first broadcast.
Show it. It's very interesting to see how it looks compared to today.
13 days after the satellite was broadcast. It was America on one end of the pond, Britain on the other end.
Let's
joint
take a
broadcast.
Look. All right, the joint broadcast.
Good evening, Europe. This is the North American continent live via AT&T Telstar, July 23rd, 1962, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the east. The New York skyline on the Atlantic Ocean. And that's the Brooklyn Bridge. On the west, 3,000 miles away, San Francisco. 12 noon at the Golden Gate Bridge, high above the entrance of San Francisco Harbor. The same sun, which has just set over the Mediterranean and the English Channel, has reached its zenith here, but is above the clouds hanging over San Francisco.
That's what the British viewers or
and
European viewers saw.
And a familiar voice.
Very familiar voice. The broadcast was hosted by Walter Cronkite and Chet Huntley, who were anchors for rival networks. I don't know if you'd have that today, 2 anchors for rival networks on a broadcast like that. But
historic broadcast, the first of all time.
Telstar is mainly forgotten today. It's only anoraks or nerds or whatever you want to call, like myself, who remember it. But every time you watch a football game, or most times you watch a football game, you are paying tribute to Telstar.
And why is that?
Because for the 1970 World Cup, a football was designed to resemble the Telstar satellite. There's the football. It's still in use today.
So football is actually a tribute to Telstar.
Football, modern football, is a tribute to Telstar. There was another tribute. A British group called the Tornadoes released an instrumental song, Telstar, which we won't play because it's one of these songs that once you hear it, you can't get it out your head.
So
and I speak here from experience.
Please spare us from that.
I will spare you. I will spare. I wish I could spare myself.
Thank you very much for enriching our morning and our knowledge of this week in history. Thanks for being with us this morning. Now, from history, we move to haute couture. And in the studio to guide us through the masculine world that was Men's Fashion Week New York is our lifestyle guru, Maya Kramer. Thank you for joining us as always. And you have a guest with you?
Yes, I've brought a guest, a male model, as you can see, Anton Davidson.
As would be suitable for the subject of today's
Men's
segment.
Fashion Week. Yes.
Welcome, Anton, to the studio as well. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Thanks. So yes, Fashion Week launched this week in New York, Men's Fashion Week. They passed through London, Paris, and Milan, of course. It was 4 days of runways and presentations. And
does it have the same hype as Women's Fashion Week? I have to ask.
No, it does not have the same hype as Women's Fashion Week because women are much more powerful.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
No, but it's still a very big event in the fashion world. And you know, I'm going to get to the trends and highlights soon, but we never really discuss behind the scenes. What goes on during the castings? A lot of the models, you know, it seems like it's a very luxurious.
It's like the most glamorous job one
in
could
the world.
have.
Yes.
Maybe Anton can give us a little
taste.
Yes,
it's also very disappointing. It can be very degrading and tiring. So, you know, first of all, you know, Anton, I just wanted to hear, how are you discovered? How does a model get discovered?
It depends. You can walk just by a street. Some agent can come to you. Hey, you want to be a model? Or
yeah, that happened to you.
Yeah,
that's what happened to me first. With my first agency, I just walked to some casting that my friend told me to go, and there was an agent, and he said to me, "Wow, you look great. You can be a big model."
Right.
take my card,
No one ever approaches us. Maybe we're walking to the wrong
people approach
supermarket.
me all the time. People approach me
okay.
all the time on the street and tell me I need to be a model. It's just I'm
don't
too
have time,
busy.
right?
Yeah, I'm here. So,
Okay.
but you know, as I said, it's not as luxurious as it sounds, right? So, how much
Yes.
time on average do you spend waiting on lines? You just came back from Milan, right, for casting?
It depends. It can be like 300 people in one line, and you can spend 2 hours, 3 hours. But it depends on you. You can cut the line, you know, and spend
And
only
Andrew,
15
what's
minutes.
the job of your agent in that sense, in order to kind of make it a little bit less difficult, or maybe to cut those lines for you, a little bit less of the dirty work? What does your agent do? How does he play in?
The agents, they're trying to push me, and if they can, so they can push me like not to stand in a line, which is a request casting, and I can came to the casting alone, and they can see me by 15 minutes.
Right, right.
So yes, it saved me a lot of time on the day.
But also during the castings, do you ever get like like I heard they ask not just like what's your name, how old are you, they ask you if you work out in the gym.
Yes, they're asking about your measures. They maybe not asking if they see that something is not good, so they can tell you you need to
Do you
go
feel
to the
that
gym.
to go to the
questions
gym.
are invasive? Are you told sometimes that you have to go to the gym, or you have to change something about your look?
Yes, of course. A lot of times there's brands that you need to be bigger or smaller, and they saying to you like what you need to do.
Stop eating.
Stop
go to the
for
gym.
a week and come back.
Yeah.
And this is something you're kind of willing to take on, and this is part of the job in a way.
Of course, it's part of the job, and I'm taking the gym as a hobby. I really enjoy the gym. I really also enjoy to go to the castings because I like to see the people around. I like to meet people and make the connection, so it can be really fun.
So Maya, what's expected for Fashion Week?
Yeah, so speaking of castings, Park and Ronan, which is like the Victoria's Secret for men, just did their casting. They're actually debuting today. It's unfortunate that we can't be in New York right now to see their show. And each season they cast really like the hottest models. I think over 200 models come to the casting, and they only choose 20.
How did I not know about this?
Yes.
Really?
How are we not at the casting? I want us to have a look really quick at their casting process. Park and Ronan.
If we can show Park and Ronan, the casting process on the screen. Do we have this? There we are. So take us through, Maya.
Yeah, okay, so basically, you know, they said, they're quoted saying, if we like them, we'll have the boys try on clothes, then walk. If we still like them, we'll have them change into shorts, then walk. And if we still like them, we'll have them strip down into a little bikini.
And still walk, probably.
Yeah, they walk it with very trendy footwear, of course. Yeah, so they also are stating that they're looking for all-American Ivy League prep boys.
Like an
But then
Abercrombie and Fitch kind of look.
But then they quickly corrected themselves, saying that they like all-American meets United Nations, so that it doesn't seem all white.
Right.
Right. And this leads me...
That could backfire very quickly.
Very, very quickly. This leads me into a fashion blogger named, and a stylist named Hannah Stodmeyer, who expressed her dismay at how the fashion industry has historically been absent from the Black Lives Matter conversation. She stated on her Instagram, "Today's day one of New York City Men's Fashion Week, and I will not attend this year. And I know that my presence will not be missed, nor will it matter. And the business will carry on as usual, but not for me." How do you think I feel as a black woman who works in this industry? You know, she organized a silent protest outside the shows, holding signs and wearing T-shirts saying Black Lives Matter, don't shoot, stop killing us.
Political messages into the fashion world, which is, as she mentions and claims, has been actually avoiding these very important matters and not representing as many cultures and multiculturalism as should be.
Right. But, you know, Fashion Week, as she said, continues.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. There's a men's suit brand called Suit Supply, and this is really cool because the models arrived to Broome Street in New York on bicycles, sporting the brand's latest collection of suits. So they kind of wanted to show, here they are, they wanted to show that
Looks like the Netherlands.
Right. They just demonstrated how lightweight and functional their suits are. Here they are, you know, they stopped traffic, all the models came. You know, Anton, this would have been a nice campaign for you.
Because people stopped their breath? You know, did it catch their breath, or did they stop traffic for other reasons?
People were fainting on the streets. I mean, just to see this amount of male models on bicycles in New York, I would stop my car too.
You would imagine seeing anything in New York. So let's talk
Exactly.
about trends in
Yes,
the remaining
trends.
time we have.
Okay, so we saw in their show, we saw plaids and stripes dominated the men's suits, as opposed to the basic gray and basic summer colors of white or cream. A lot of broad shoulders, okay, oversized with a military touch, as you see here. Supersized shoulders, extremely boxy.
Coming back. It's kind of 80s-ish.
Very
no?
80s, 90s, sheer tops, men with sheer tops, very beachy stuff. We have, everybody wants to look like a surfer. And Tom Brown show, here we have leopard, sorry. So we have leopard was a big trend in men's. A lot of very feminine,
fashion,
a lot of very feminine.
feminine.
Here we are with the onesie bathing suits with the matching surfboards. I'm sure you men would wear this at the beach, correct?
So the unisex is really playing out this year.
Every year, usually
Every
with
year
the
and
women,
more
they're
and
wearing
more
the
so,
suits, and the men are wearing
absolutely.
the bikinis. So yeah.
Great. Maya Kramer, our lifestyle guru, and Anton Davidson, thank you very much, and good luck on your future endeavors in the modeling world. That's all the time we have for our show today. Thank you for watching. For anything else, you can find us online, i24news.tv, and please do follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll be back here on Sunday with the Sunday Review, so do join us and stay with i24 News for the rest of the day. Why not? Thank you for watching.